Okay, now that we've installed LibreOffice and set it up properly, I'll show you very briefly how to use the spreadsheet. So there's basically three tabs at the bottom here. There's the preamble, the log sheet itself, and some statistics. Um, the first thing we need to do is fill out the preamble. So your call sign is at the top here. Put in my call sign. The location is, for Canadians, is the province, the two-letter province. So they're confined to these, so you have to use one of these. So we'll go with BC. The contest is also a predefined field, so you have to use the drop-down menu, or you can type it exactly. So we'll use Canada Day for this example. The category, we'll use single operator in my case. The bands, all. The mode, I'll do SSB. Actually, let's pick for this example, let's pick mixed. The power, high is 100 watts, no, is more than 100 watts. Low is between 5 and 100 watts, and QRP is less than 5 watts. So I'll pick low for me. And the transmitter type, I'll use unlimited. Now the rest of the rest is pretty much just text. So the club name, my name, address, and so on. So I'll type that in. And the sandbox is just a place to type some free text. This contest was really fun. There you go. And it's up to a maximum number of 70 characters. So in this case, I've used 28 of the 70 characters. If it goes over, it'll be truncated at 70. So make sure that your message is not too long. And the contest date needs to be in that format exactly. So we'll type in the year, the month, dash, the day. There we go. Now that we've got this filled out, we'll move on to the actual log sheet. So this log sheet has basically three parts. The part in green is where you will be typing your information during the contest. The part in red is different calculations and information that will pop up as you type the log information. The part in purple is kind of in between, and I'll show you what I mean here. So let's say, for example, that I made a contact on 80 meters, um, 38 something. And the contest starts at 0 Zulu, so 0 UTC. We'll say that I was 4 minutes late. And the call sign that I heard was a VE7 something, something, something. That station gave me so before we keep on going, right away you can see that some information has started populating here. So what it's saying here is that I've talked to that station on one band so far. The band that I've talked to on right now is 80 meters, and that's a two-pointer for now, but it's because I'm not done yet with the exchange. You'll see that 2 points change as I continue filling out the information. So the RST that I got a 5.9, and the exchange was that station's province, so I'll type BC. Now, as soon as I type BC, notice what will happen here. Since it's a Canadian station, the points went automatically to 10. The RST that I'm giving, let's say I'll give them a 5.9, and the mode is phone in this case. Again, there's only two modes for this contest, either phone or CW, so it has to be one of these two values. I can type it or I can just select it. Now, as soon as I've entered all of this, then I get the points and I get the multiplied points. The multiplied points basically is using the basic points for that station, for that contact, times the multiplier. And the multiplier, which is written here, is if we go to the stats here, the multiplier is based on how many provinces that I've contacted so far. So far I've only contacted one station in BC, and uh, and also on different bands and different modes. So this whole grid here shows all of the um, available multipliers. So far I've got one. Now as we keep going, so I'll go back to the log and put in a different contact. Let's say this time it's on um, 40 meters and it's a few minutes later. And just for the sake of this example, we'll say it's another V7. And I've also received a 5.9 from BC. Uh, Now I've got a multiplier of 2 because I've got two different bands. So if we go to the stats page, I've got two stations from BC, but one on 80 meters and one on 40 meters. So that's a 2 multiplier. So all of that is calculated automatically, and I can see my total score so far at the very top and the total number of contacts. Now, this here's the section in purple. Uh, it automatically um, typed the 5.9 unless I wanted to give something else, which I can change, and that the mode was phone. So all of these cells in purple, basically what they do is they look up the previous contact and they do the same thing again, just to avoid typing. But you can change them. So suppose that let's make another phone contact, still on the same band, um, but then it'll be a station from a different province, just so that we can see how the multiplier changes. So VA6 something something something. And I'm also getting a 5.9 that this time from Alberta. Okay. Now my multiplier is 3. And all of these single points turned from 10 to 30, which is very nice. And if I look at the stats, I can see why I've got a multiplier of 3. Now let's make a CW contact. So we'll go down the band a little bit. And I don't know if that's the right frequency for CW, but pretend it is. And we'll get another station from V6 land. And this time I got a 599 from Alberta, but I want to give a 599, not a 59. So I can just change that 599 and I can change that to CW. So the cells in purple, you can change yourself. And now my multiplier also increased again because now I've got a different section. I'm on CW, not on phone. Let's make another CW on the same band. Um, let's say a different frequency, but the same band. Let's say 4 or 5. And right after, so it was really fast. Also from V6 land. Yeah, let's pick the same station as before here. No, let's pick a different station for now. AAC, yep. And also CW, AB. Now I got my points, but I did not get a new multiplier because um, I've got two stations in that category of Alberta on 40 meters CW, but um, it's two stations. It's not, I don't increase the multiplier every time I increase the station. It's not a new area. So my multiplier is still 4. So if you want to increase your multiplier, what you're trying to do is get as many contacts in different bands slash um, provinces slash modes. But I still get the points. Now, if I go back to I go back to phone. Let's say I go back to 80 meters, but on a slightly different frequency, and the time keeps going. And for some reason, no. Let's start by contacting another station, AAC, and I receive a 5.9 from BC, and I want to change that back to 5.9 and phone. So I'm back on phone. Again, my points keep going, but my multiplier is still 4 because I'm still in this. I haven't opened up a new area here. I just doubled the BC and my 80 meter phone. Now, let's say that the next person I talk to um, is on 40 meters, but a different frequency. And it happens to be that I forget that I've already talked to VE7AAB. As soon as I type their call sign and the band, the frequency, I get a warning here. There's a duplicate entry. See the UTC time in column J. So if I look at here, uh, oh, this is a little bug. I'll fix that. This should basically say that, here, give me a second. I'll fix it right this minute. Okay, so it was right. It's just the formatting was a little wonky. So what this says is that this latest entry has a duplicate at 0006 hours. So it's 6 minutes past zero, so which is this time here. Um, Now, so this is a duplicate because it's the same call sign at on 40 meters on phone. So if we had changed the band, so for example, let's go on 20 meters, then this is not a duplicate anymore because it's a different band. And it would be the same if we had made that contact on CW instead. So as you're putting in your entries, let's keep going here, uh, 59 BC. Okay, as you put in your entry, check for that warning area at the top here to see if you've got any issues, either with duplicates or, for example, if we've mistyped the frequency, if we're outside the ham bands, for example, I'll just type 20,000. Um, then it'll say that either the format of the frequency is wrong because it needs to be in kilohertz, or it's not an allowed frequency. So for example, if I typed 7.1 thinking that I mean 7.1 megahertz, it's still wrong. It needs to be 7100. Or if I thought that UHF was allowed, it's a proper frequency, it's formatted properly, but it's not allowed for that contest. So let's go back and say that we made this contact on 20 meters. Now the other thing to notice here is that call sign we've talked to twice on two different bands, which is good, which is allowed. Now let's go and add just as a last example here, or second to last example. Let's go and add an American station, Whiskey 7 something something something. We got a 59, and they gave us a serial number because that's their exchange, 32 stations. That person is really good in 18 minutes. Okay, let's make it more realistic, say 6 stations. All right. And so we got 2 points. 2 points for a non-Canadian station, 10 points for all the Canadian stations with the multiplier that we've got so far, which is 5. Let's have a look here in the stats. Yeah, we've got 5 area that count. The non-Canadian stations don't count for multipliers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different areas. Now the last example is let's say we managed to get one of the RAC stations. So let's say we've got a new province, VE4 RAC, and we get a 59 from them, and Manitoba, I believe. MB, is that right? Okay, I'll double check that. Now for a RAC station, we get 20 points instead of 10. And then the multiplier, which in our case just went up again by 1 extra, so we got a multiplier 6. because we got a new province, MB. That's right. And we can also see a little summary of the different rack stations that we got. And the rack stations, again, you can count the same one if it's on a different band or a different mode. So you can manage if you can contact the same RAC station a few times, uh, as long as it's not a proper duplicate, then you'll get the points. Now we're almost done. So let's say that we've got all of our contacts and we're ready to send in our logs. The last thing we need to do is once we've double checked that everything is in order and our preamble is good, is to click the create Cabrio file. So press that and that's it. It says here that the Cabrio file was saved in this directory, which is the same directory that the spreadsheet would be in. So wherever you saved the spreadsheet initially, the log sheet will appear right beside it. So if we close that, we'll now see my log sheet that's right beside where the file was. And this is we don't need that one. That's my actual contest file. So if we open the Cabrio file now to have a quick look, we'll see all of the information that we had in the spreadsheet just formatted in a very specific way that the contest needs it. And there's actually some extra information here that I forgot to delete. So let me close that and we'll just rerun it again. I had some code, debugging code that I forgot to comment out. So we'll just run the Cabrio file creator again, press OK. Then we'll go and open the file again. And yeah, there it is. Perfect. So this part here in the file is just our preamble, all of the information that we put in the preamble, but formatted in the specific way that the Cabrio file needs to be formatted in. And then what follows is the list of all of our contacts, again, formatted in the very specific way that it needs to be formatted. So that's the file that you need to email to RAC. Now in the next video, I'll show you a little bit, we'll pop open the hood and I'll show you a little bit of how all of this works if you want to make any changes to the spreadsheet.